box is so heavy. Oh my goodness. Hello everyone, my name is Stephanie. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. Or I guess welcome if you're new. So I, just made some dinner. I'm waiting for it to cool. I had a couple minutes and I figured that I would open up this big box for you. So I ordered a bunch of stuff from Book Outlet. Now this is not sponsored by them, like they don't know I'm making this video, but I had heard about Book Outlet a bunch from some other booktubers, and they were having a sale for Boxing Day. So I bought a bunch of books. So I'll sort of go through them, share some of the books. I got one for a friend, I got a bunch for me. So I'll share with you some of the books that I bought, and we'll just kind of go through them. Oh goodness, this is heavy. It's a little ripped, but as far as I can tell, all the books are intact, so fingers crossed. Okay, how do I open this? There we go. Okay, there we go. Let's see. Okay, so I have my list of books here, but I'll just kind of go through them as I pull them out. Ooh. Oh my goodness, these are beautiful. Ah! Okay, so this first book, I haven't read anything by this author before, but I've heard very good things. But I bought this book for, it doesn't tell me how much. But so I bought this book because I love this musical. So I got Alex and Eliza. I love Hamilton. Like, you don't understand. I love it. So I thought it would be really fun to read this. A story about two of the characters from that musical, from history, and their relationship. So I'm super excited for this book. I think what I'll do also is I'll put the price that I got these books for, just to kind of give you an idea of Book Outlet. I was actually really impressed with how inexpensive these books were. Obviously I love books, like I have a booktube channel, that's something that, I really love. But I'm also very stingy when it comes to money. I love a good sale, but I never buy anything full price. Just that's who I am, I guess. So I was actually really impressed with a lot of the prices on Book Outlet. So if I can find the prices, then I'll, let you know how much I paid for these, how much they go for. Like this one, list price, it says $18 US. Walmart price $12.58, and I paid way less than that on Book Outlet. So very exciting. This one's beautiful. Oh my goodness. I don't remember what any of these books are about. I know, I read all of them, all of their descriptions, and some of these I'd heard of before, but I don't remember what any of these are about now. But these covers are amazing. Look at this. Look at this. Oh, I love it. This one I think, oh yeah. So I guess this is a mystery. It takes place in the 1920s. So this is The Gallery by Laura Marks Fitzgerald. And from what I can tell, this is a book about a maid who starts working for this new family, and there's this mystery going on, and everyone thinks that the heiress of the family is just crazy or whatever, but she realizes that something deeper is going on or something. I don't really know. But I really like this cover. And it did sound like a fun story. I like that there's some mystery and intrigue, and it talks about how nothing is what it seems, no one is who they say. So I think this will be a fun one. It's also set in the 1920s, so I just think that's a really fun setting, especially now that we're in the 2020s. Whoa! So this book takes place like 100 years ago. That's weird. Oh, I don't like that. That's weird. Oh my goodness. But yeah, so I thought this sounded like a good book, so we added it to the list. Okay, this one I read the synopsis of, and it sounded really cool. So this book is The Hearts We Sold by Emily Lloyd Jones, and this revolves around our main character named Dee, who has a horrible family life, and the one place that she feels really comfortable and safe is her school. However, she no longer has the money to afford to go there. So she decides to make a deal with the devil, and she, goes to this demon to make a deal to be able to stay in the school that she's in. And in exchange, this demon asks not for, an arm or a leg, but her heart. And so she sells her heart to the devil, and we sort of follow her as she starts to meet this boy who also gave his heart to the devil for a deal. And it sort of talks about this idea of them possibly falling in love, and how can she give her heart when it is no longer hers to give. So I love, like, that one line, that her heart is no longer hers to give. Like, that just, I was like, oh, like, that sounds so good. So that really encouraged me to get this book. So I'm very excited about it. I think this will probably be one of the first that I read out of this box that I got, because I think this one grabbed my attention the most. So I'm really excited for this one. So this next book is very short, and I had heard about it. I want to say it was on Books and Lala. Someone was talking about it. So I think it was Kayla was talking about this book that she didn't really give a whole lot of description of because it's so short. I feel like any sort of description will give a lot away. This is called The Test by Sylviane Neuville. And so it sounds like this person is taking the British citizenship test, and then something goes wrong, or it says the test takes an unexpected and tragic turn. I don't know what that means, but this is a really short book. It is 108 pages. So maybe this will be the first one I read. Maybe I'll do this tonight. I don't know. But I've heard a couple people talk about it. I've heard a couple mixed results, but I've also heard some positive things, so I figured it was like $1 or something, and it's 100 pages. So I decided I would give it a try, so we bought it. So yeah, we'll see. I don't normally read super short stories, but hey, we'll try it, right? Ooh. So this next book is not for me. I actually bought this one for a friend. This is a different cover than I was expecting for it. But this, I guess, is a book of essays. And it's called Naked by David Sedaris. I know absolutely nothing about this book except that it is my friend's favorite. She loves David Sedaris. Anything that he's written is like her favorite thing in the world. And she doesn't own a copy of this book. So I bought this for her. I asked her, which books were on her list that she wanted, and this was one of them, and I found it on Book Outlet, so I decided to get it for her. I've never seen this cover before. I recognize the other cover that they showed online. This one I don't, but like I said, I know nothing about this. I know that this author has done a lot of writing for newspapers and for BBC. So yeah, so these are sort of in shorter essays within a larger bind-up. So maybe I'll, read one or two and sort of see what it's like, how I feel about them. I won't say that essays are, one of the things that I normally read, so I don't know how I'd feel about it. But knowing how much my friend loves it, I might give it a try. I guess we'll see. I'll be seeing her this weekend, so I'll give it to her then, but we'll see. I don't know if it's something that I might be into or not. These books are a lot bigger than I thought they would be, too. I will say that. A lot of these books I'm pulling out are thicker than I thought. Like this one, this is thick. Like, I was not expecting it to be this big. And so that's Nemesis by Brendan Riches. And Riches, right? Riches. Anyways, so this one sounded really interesting, and like, I don't know, I've seen a couple mixed reviews. I haven't really looked too much into reviews for some of these. I know some people who've read this and didn't like it, but I know some people who read it and did really like this, so I'm not sure how I feel about it. But I guess this person, like, every year on her birthday gets killed, and then she wakes up like nothing happened. And I just thought that was really interesting. Like, that's, you know, like a cool concept to me. So I figured I would give it a try. Yeah. And so I guess this book just revolves around a couple different characters, one of whom, like I mentioned, ends up being killed on her birthday, and then, you know, she wakes up like nothing happens and all the evidence is gone. It also revolves around another character who's having a lot of nightmares about murders and these very violent acts. And then there's something about, like, a bunch of students in her class and some big conspiracy. I don't really know. I feel like for these books with more of like the mysterious element to it, I don't like to read a lot into the story. I like to go in knowing kind of a general idea of what's gonna happen, but I don't want to look too into it, so that way I'll get spoiled, you know what I mean? I'm not one of those people who wants like absolutely no idea going into a book, but I do like to leave a little bit just like of unknown to really keep that intrigue going. Does that make sense? So yeah, this is a lot thicker than I imagined it to be. But like I said, I'm very interested. So I guess we'll see how it goes. If you've read any of these books, let me know down in the comments below how you felt about them. Please, no spoilers. But let me know if you liked them or didn't, or if you think that I'll like them based on some of the other books that I've read. Let me know. Ooh, I'm excited for this one. This one is also thicker than I thought. Oh, maybe not. No, that was the other book underneath it that I was picking up. Okay, this one's not as thick. So this book is The Chaos of Standing Still by Jessica Brody. This book revolves around our character Rin, who has one unread message on her phone that she can't bring herself to read because it is the last message that her friend ever sent her before she died. And this has been something that she's been holding on to and has a really hard time with. And she ends up accidentally switching phones with someone named Xander. And it's kind of her story. Sorry, my camera cut off there. But so it's about that and how Rin has all these other things going on, but she is so consumed by the thought of this message and getting her phone back. And so it's kind of about her and her inability to move on and her trying to do so and trying to keep moving forward despite this thing that's holding her back. So this sounded really interesting. I've heard so many good things about this book. I never read it. It came out. So this book came out a couple years ago. Yeah, text copyright 2017. Yeah, so this book came out a couple years ago. I haven't read it, but I've heard a lot of great things. And again, saw it on Book Outlet, great price, decided to give it a shot. This one, I think I'm gonna put up on my shelf in my living room because in my living room, I have just a little bookshelf with my blue and green books. So I think this one would look perfectly right on top. So our next book that we have is called Alex Approximately by Jenn Bennett. And this one I picked up because I haven't been reading a lot of like romancy type things lately. That's not really something that I'm very into. Like I like more mysterious and more like action things with a little bit of romance sprinkled in. But this one seems more relationship focused. So it's about this girl named Bailey who has been talking to this boy Alex online for a while, and then she ends up moving to Alex's hometown, and she doesn't tell him. She wants to, she doesn't know if he's going to be like a creeper or anything, so she doesn't tell him at first. And then she starts having some relationships, not romantic, but like she starts getting to know some other people in the area, and she bumps into this person who I guess is Alex, but they don't know that they're the person they've been talking to. So that sounds interesting. I'm a big fan of the show Catfish, and this seemed like it had a little bit of that kind of element to it too. So I thought this would be fun. Again, I don't know a whole lot about these books. I didn't really look into the ratings for a lot of them. There were definitely some that I looked into and I was like, oh, I know this book is really good. I've heard a lot of really good things about this, that, or the other thing. This is one that I had heard nothing about. I knew absolutely nothing about it, but it popped up as like one of the suggested books, or one of the popular books or whatever on Book Outlet. So I decided to give it a try. So we'll see. I feel like I've been saying a lot of that. Like I'm, giving something a try. I'm trying to really figure out, not I guess like what I like in books, because I do have, like specific tastes or things that I like, but I'm trying to expand more. I'm trying to get, a little bit more variety in my reading lately. I'll do a lot of rereading, like I reread Harry Potter every year, and stuff like that, but I'm trying to expand more, Maybe I'll find something that I never expected to like, you know what I mean? Ooh, like this one. So this next one is something that I could see myself reading, but it wouldn't have been like my number one pick a couple years ago. But I've heard a lot of good things, so I was really excited when I saw this on Book Outlet. It's Girls with Sharp Sticks by Suzanne Young. I had picked up a couple of her books before, but this one is about this like boarding school that makes these perfect women, and like it's very like focused on obedience and not talking back or like having your own opinions kind of thing, which like sounds really sketchy. And a couple of the girls at the school find out, some like of the dark secrets surrounding the school. And from what I've heard, it's like a really good talk about like society and how we view women and stuff. So I'm very interested in that aspect of it too. I think the fact that it's like, this creepy school and they're, figuring out that things aren't what they seem is really cool. But I like the fact that it has some sort of commentary on our society. I do like those books where, you can kind of see our world in it. So this book is rated very highly. Suzanne Young's Program series is also on my list of books that I really want to read coming soon. Or books not coming soon, but books that I want to read soon. So yeah, if you have read any of these books, like I said, let me know. I'm very excited for this one. This is another book that I wouldn't have thought of myself reading. I want to say this is a series. Is this a series? Maybe. But this book is Want by Cindy Pon. So this book talks about these two separate classes, the rich and the poor, and the rich use their wealth to basically buy longer lives. They are able to have special suits and to afford these things that will protect them, where the poorer people do not have that luxury and therefore are getting sick and dying a lot earlier than the wealthy. And basically it's about that and these people who decide that this is not right and that they want to do something about it and do something to change this. So I don't read a lot of like sci-fi things, and this seems like a lot more sci-fi than I'm used to. But I like the concept of, these, like this clash between the two classes and, people trying to do something about it. I think that part of it seems really cool. So we'll see. I read more sci-fi stuff when I was in like middle school into high school. But lately I haven't read as much of it. So we'll see. I don't know how sci-fi this is. It definitely feels like there's going to be a lot. Even like this cover makes it feel very sci-fi. So I don't know how I'll feel about it. I haven't read a lot of that kind of stuff lately. So I don't really know if that's something that I'll enjoy. I think this one also had a few mixed reviews. But, I mean, everybody has their own opinions. Some people like things, some people don't. So, I don't know. But I'm excited for this. So this book is an older book. It came out in 1998. And then this version that I have is the 20th anniversary. So this one came out in 2018. But that is If You Come Softly by Jacqueline Woodson, who is an amazing author, has written so many amazing things. I've never read this one though. So this book is about these two characters who go to school together and start developing a relationship because of their differences. One of them is Black, one of them is Jewish. And because of these two different cultures that they are parts of, they fear that the rest of the world may not treat them well, may not treat them the way they want to be treated, may not see their relationship as the beautiful relationship that it is. So I think this will be very interesting to read. I love these books where we can kind of, again, look at society and how we view people, but also the idea that these two people have such a strong relationship and that other people may not see that or respect it, and sort of how they get through that. I think that's something that I read a lot of, that idea of this relationship and how other people see it. And I think it'll be really interesting to read this. Yeah, I don't know. I love this cover too. It's beautiful. But yeah, I'm excited to see this romance of theirs bloom and just really how they stay strong through the not so nice things that they may hear from other people. This also is a lot smaller than I expected it to be. Most of them were larger than I expected, but this one looks pretty short. So, ooh, and let's see what the cover is. Ooh, I really like that color. It's a really nice color. But yeah, so like I said, this is the 20th anniversary edition. Yeah. So the next book I have is a retelling of a classic story, and it's a retelling of the story of Aladdin and the genie in the lamp. And so this is The Forbidden Wish by Jessica Curry. So basically it's the story of this genie named Zara who falls in love with Aladdin, and she gets the opportunity for freedom, to not be a djinn anymore, and she kind of has to decide if she wants to betray Aladdin and, take this opportunity to go and be free, or if she wants to stay with him. And I'm all for retellings, and I really love different retellings of this story. I think that these, one of the goals that I have, something that I really like to do, is read 1001 Arabian Nights. I think that I've heard some of the stories, and I would love to, read it all together. So I want to see if I can find a bind up of that. But one of the stories that I really love is Aladdin, and so I think that, retellings of that are always really cool. I love Twisted. If you haven't seen Twisted, highly recommend it. It is the best thing ever. It is a musical by Star Kid, which is the same group that made a Harry Potter musical and a bunch of other really awesome things. So they did Twisted, which I'll describe it as Twisted is to Aladdin as Wicked is to The Wizard of Oz. So it's basically the, it's the story of Jafar from Aladdin. And it is so good. It's hysterical. It's so well made. The music is beautiful. So I highly recommend. So anyways, like I was saying, I love different retellings of Aladdin and that story. So I was super excited when I saw this. I've never read something in this sort of Aladdin and the genie fall in love kind of thing. So I guess we'll see how it goes. Okay, we got a couple more left. So this one came out recently, and I've heard a lot of great things about this book. It is From Twinkle with Love by Sandhya Menon, and this book is, this is a YA contemporary romance type book, and our main character Twinkle is very interested in film, and that is like one of the things that drew me into this, because I'm so interested in film. Like, that's one of the things that I studied in college. Like, film is something that's very important to me. So in this book, the fact that she is an aspiring filmmaker is very important, but also the book is written in letters that she writes, and she writes these letters to various filmmakers that have impacted her life. So I thought that was really cool. So this is a YA contemporary romance. I've been reading a lot of like lighter books lately. So I think that something like this is something that I was really interested in, because I wanted something just light and fluffy and fun, you know? So yeah, we'll see. Let me know if you liked this book. And also, like, just let me know what kind of books you're interested in. Like, do you like the more contemporary, romancy, fun stuff? Do you like some of the deeper books that talk about, you know, societal things? Are you into essays? Are you, like, let me know what you're into. I love getting suggestions for books. If you have any recommendations, let me know. But also, I'd like to know, like, what things you'd like to hear me talk about. Like, I, will do, maybe some book reviews about some of these books. So let me know which ones you're interested in hearing my thoughts on, or if there's something else that you'd like to know. I know I'm very new to the BookTube world, so if you have any like questions or like tag ideas, things like that you want to know from me, let me know. You can always leave comments down below. You can also reach me on my Instagram and stuff. So little mid-roll plug here. I'll put a bunch of links down in the description where you can find like my Instagram and, all the places that I keep track of books, Goodreads, that sort of thing. I'll also leave some links to some of the other videos that I've posted lately. I just posted a video of 2019 favorites, but I put a little bit of a twist on it. So I'll leave a link down below to that video as well. Let me know what you think of that. But I have, I think, 4 more books to go through here. So let's get this done, because then I gotta eat. I'm hungry. This one I hadn't heard of before. There's like, like when you rip off a sticker and there's like that residue left? There's a little bit of residue on this, which is kind of, ugh. Anyways, this is a book that I had never heard of before, but I read it and I really liked it. It's called The Sacred Lies of Minnow Bly by Stephanie Oakes. And this book is about a girl who was in a cult, and how something really bad happened, and she ends up talking to the FBI. They, questioning her about this thing that happened, and she has to kind of choose between getting out of the cult and having freedom, or staying true to everything that she's known, this community that she's been a part of for so many years. So I thought that was really interesting. I'm interested in like group psychology. That's something that I find very interesting. I took a class starting in high school. I took a criminology class, and we did a section on like group psychology and on cults and gangs and things like that, where we talked about the dynamics of different groups. And since then, like, that was something that I was so interested in. So I've taken a couple classes, since then, and, read a lot about it. So that's something that really drew me to this book. So I'm interested to see how this author, portrays it, and how this character works through this situation, and where she wants to have this connection with this group that she's been a part of for so long, but she also wants that freedom and wants to break free of that. So I think that'll be very interesting. Again, I don't know a whole lot about these books, but just from, the descriptions and stuff, this sounds really compelling. So I'm excited. Yeah. Ooh, this one I'm really excited for. I haven't read this yet, and it's been on my list like since it came out. This is one of the ones that, like, as soon as I heard about it, I was like, I have to read it. And then for whatever reason, I didn't. And that is 5 Feet Apart by Rachel Lippincott with Mickey Daughtry and Tobias Iconis. So this is, from what I heard, it was a film that was then adapted into a book. They turned the screenplay into a book, though that's what I hear, but then I also have heard that people aren't sure about that, so I don't really know. But this is about these two characters who both have, what's it called? Cystic fibrosis. So both of these kids or teenagers have cystic fibrosis, and they meet in the hospital, and the rule is that they have to stay 6 feet apart, because anything closer and they could catch an infection from each other, which could then compromise them, and they could get even sicker or die. Like, it's very serious, and they're told that they have to stay far away from each other. However, they end up falling in love, and they want to know if 5 feet apart is really all that dangerous, really all that bad. So I heard about the book, was really excited about it, saw the trailer for the movie, was really excited about it. I have not read the book or seen the movie yet. I traditionally like to read the book before I see the movie, because it was written differently and was a film and then adapted into this. I don't know if I should watch the movie first or read the book first. I don't know. If you have done either, let me know what your thoughts are. Do you think I should read the book or see the movie first? Do you think it matters? Does it matter differently because the movie was written before the book? Let me know what your thoughts are. We'll see, but I'm definitely reading this. I'm very excited for this. I also really like the cover. So, yeah. Okay, 2 more to go. So, this book, again, I don't know anything about. I really like the cover, so that was one of the things that inspired me to buy it. But it also sounds very, like, intriguing and mysterious. So I was interested to, see what happens. And so that is The Love That Split the World by Emily Henry. And so this book is just, let me read the description to you, because I'm not sure I could describe it much better. Natalie's last summer in her small Kentucky hometown is off to a magical start, until she starts seeing the wrong things. At first, they're just momentary glimpses. Her front door is red instead of its usual green. There's a preschool where the garden store should be. But then, her whole town disappears for hours, fading away into rolling hills and grazing buffalo, and Nat knows something isn't right. Then, there are the visits from the kind and mysterious apparition she calls grandmother, who tells her you have 3 months to save him. The next night, under the stadium lights of the high school football field, she meets a beautiful boy named Bo, and it's as if time just stops and nothing exists. Nothing except Natalie and Bo. What? What is this book about? I don't know, but I love it. It says it's romance and mystery, and I'm excited. It perfectly captures those bittersweet months after high school when we dream not only of the future, but of all the roads and paths we've left untaken. So, I don't know. but I'm excited. I like that mysterious element to it. Like I said, I love the cover, and it sounded good. It's blurbed by a couple really popular authors that I like, so I guess we'll see. Okay, last book, I promise, and then we're done. So this next book, again, I know nothing about it. I know nothing except for some of the representation that it has, and I've heard very good things about that, so I'm excited for that. But it is more of a fantasy adventure novel, which I'm into. I'm excited. I'm not sure how, like, what the magic system is like, how high fantasy it is. I don't read super high fantasy typically, so I'm not really sure where this falls. But that is A Curse So Dark and Lonely by Brigid Kemmerer. Kemmerer, yeah. The only thing I know about this is that one of our main characters has cerebral palsy, and that I've heard that it does a good job representing that. Now, being a special education teacher, disability representation is very important to me. I know quite a few people with cerebral palsy, and one of the things that, I'm gonna go on a little tangent real quick. One of the things that I find so important is portrayals of disability in the media. I was going to write my thesis about it, and then I ended up doing something different. But disability in the media is just, like, it shows how our society views people with disabilities. And the fact that this is a fantasy book where the main character has a physical disability is awesome, because a lot of the stuff that we see when we talk about disability in the media, it's very, like, negative or babied. Even, like, one of my friends, like, always gets talked to like she's a baby. And, like, so we talk about how, you know, people jump to these conclusions based on what they know, what they see, and what they expect. And so when you have good representation out there, be it for people with disabilities, people of different ethnicities, races, orientations, like, when you represent people well and represent them as people, like, you can change the way entire groups of people are seen. And I think that's so important. So, long story short, I'm very excited for this book. I've heard that it has some really good representation. It's a lot thicker than I expected, so can't promise I'll get this done super quickly. But I'm excited for this, and I've heard that this is the first in a series too. So I'm excited for that. If you have any good recommendations for books with good disability rep, let me know. I have a bunch that I actually love, so maybe that could be a thing where I'll talk about some books with disability rep that I think is really good. So let me know some of your suggestions too, and we'll see if we can accumulate a list of some really good representative books. I've seen, people do things like books with good LGBT rep, or books with good, like, race, like, we'll see if we can come up with a list of books that represent lots of different people with different abilities, and, like, whether it be a physical disability or intellectual disability, like, whatever it is, let me know down in the comments or, like, on Instagram or whatever, and let's see if we can come up with a list, because that's something I'm so passionate about. I think that's something that would be a really cool video for me to make. Like I said, I teach special education, so I am surrounded by people all day who, traditionally will get seen very differently than what they are. The kids I work with, you might on paper expect them to not, be capable of these things, but then you see them and, like, they can do so much. So I'm sorry, I'm not gonna, I'll get off my soapbox now and, you know, off my tangent. But yeah, if you have any books like that, let me know. So yeah, this is a lot of, I'm not sure I can pick all these books up to show you. Let's try it. Ready? There we go. Oh goodness. Look at all these books. Oh my goodness. So these are all the books that I got from Book Outlet today. Stick them right here for now. Yeah, so thanks for watching. I'm really excited to get into some of these books. Let's see. I'm not really sure where we'll go first. Maybe we'll start off with the test, since that one's the shortest. But I think The Hearts We Sold will probably be one of my first ones that I read. Maybe A Curse So Dark and Lonely will be a good one too. But anyways, I'm gonna start reading some of these books pretty soon, so let me know which ones you'd like to hear me talk about. Any suggestions of things you'd like me to talk about in the future, I'd really appreciate. Like I said, I am new to the world of BookTube. I will leave a link down below to my TeacherTube channel. I've talked a lot, and I've been starting to post more regularly on there too, about my life as a first-year teacher, as a special ed teacher, and just, you know, kind of my interactions in that world. But I'm new to BookTube, so any sort of suggestions that you have, let me know. I've seen some cool tags and stuff, so maybe I'll try one of those to just sort of, you know, help you get to know me and my reading taste. But yeah, that is it for now. Thanks so much for watching. Like I said, I have a bunch of stuff down in the description below, links you can click and stuff. Feel free to like, subscribe, etc. And I hope to see you in the next video. Bye!